flashing TV, and I haven't done anything special lately, so I wonder what this is about. A very rare occurrence. Didn't we go through this already? Oh! There's a swarm of Nuzleafs somewhere. Nuzleaf and C-Dot are really rare in this game, and it's on Route 114. No less, which is on the way to Meteor Falls, which is where Steven is. So if I'm on the way to Meteor Falls, and you're all, oh my god, it's a Nuzleaf! It's rare! Catch it! Catch it! It's a swarm. So I haven't gotten outrageously lucky or anything. It's just because of the swarm. That is, if the swarm lasts until I go to Steven. And yes, okay, now we're going to visit the Battle Dome, which is once again a ripoff. Well, no, actually, the Battle Tent is a ripoff of the Battle Dome, and I believe it's the Verdantur Battle Tent. Now I explained the way this worked back then, but I'm going to re-explain it to you just in case you don't feel like hunting the part where I went to the Verdantur Battle Tent and oh, seems like we got a bunch of people arguing here. Oh wow! And even the old nut job is added. The Domace is mine! The only idol for me is mine! 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 Wow, whoa! And the thing about the Domace, which is called Tucker, by the way, is that, well, I don't know what is it with the NPCs in this game, but when there's an NPC that's really idolized, whether it's a Frontier Brain or a Gym Leader, they always have zero fashion sense. But in Tucker's case, it's even worse, because he makes Juan and Wallace look normal. Seriously, look up the sprite of Domace Tucker and tell me he's not dressed up for a gay pride parade. No offense to gays, of course, especially not since I know that gays do not dress up like that. They dress like everyone else, unless they're, well, unless they're completely crazy, but there are crazy gays just like there are crazy heterosexuals, but so, yeah, that's not the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, the Battle Dome, and I realize now that I made a pretty big mistake earlier on, it's not the Battle Dome that rips off, well, that is ripped off by the Verdantur Battle Tent, but rather the Battle Palace. I always get those two mixed up for whatever reason, and this is a bracket tournament. Yeah, you see the bracket of the previous tournament, you can see all the trainers and what they used, and emphasizes HP and attack, HP and special attack, cleverly dodging attacks. Basically, that's the idea. So how it works is that before a match, you get to see what your opponent has, and both you and your opponent pick 2 Pokemon out of the 3 you entered the tournament with, and that's who you're going to be fighting with. And, of course, it's advised that you use the information that you're given about your opponent to your advantage. It's as simple as that, I believe. It's sort of like, you know, in Battle Revolution when you see your opponent's 6 Pokemon and you both have to pick 3 or 4 depending on whether you're doing singles or doubles, stuff like that. And yes, this is basically just a bracket contest with the extra twist that you get to see what your opponent has and you get to pick 2 Pokemon out of the 3 you have in order to try and beat your opponent. And of course, you can re-pick the 2 you pick for battle with each battle. You don't have to do the entire tournament with the 2 same Pokemon. You can swap around with your 3rd, but of course you can only use the 3 that you've entered the tournament with. The other 3 that are in your party are, of course, not allowed to do a thing. Okay, is there anything interesting in there? Doesn't look like it, so I'm gonna go check that billboard over there. Of course, I'm going to skip talking to that woman, since that woman is taking care of double battles, and oh, tournament matchups are drawn up based on the toughness of Pokemon held by trainers. Didn't know that, so I would assume that trainers have a certain rating attached to them, the trainer that you face, that is, so that, you know, they're seeded sort of like, for example, the NCAA tournament. There are sort of seedings, but then again, how would the computer calculate your own seeding? Maybe based off the Pokemon you have. So, for example, if you had like a team of 3 pseudo-legendaries, or something like that. Or maybe it's based off the base stat of Pokemon, or sue me. I have no idea, but it would be fun if something like Flareon, for example, was considered better than Skarmory because it had higher stats, which is something that I wouldn't put past Game Freak for some reason. And yeah, what I just read about the double KOs was that, well, there is no self-destruct clause here, meaning that if you blow up your last Pokemon and you kill the opponent's last Pokemon as a result, you don't lose automatically, you can still win depending on the decision of the referees, which kind of sucks because the self-destruct clause is usually there for a reason, and it's because, well, explosion and self-destruct would be way too easy of a last resort when it comes down to 1 versus 1 at the end of the battle. And okay, as for the Frontier Brains, I completely forgot their lineups. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going, in the movie where I visit a facility, I'm going to put their lineups in the movie description so that you can watch it. And oh god, look who's here! Oh dear. At least the good news is that this is the last we're ever going to see of him in this LP series. Yeah! And he's actually going to hand me something fairly nice, which we'll see in a moment. Took years and years, but I finally gave shape to my dream, which is your own private island of doom, where you lure unsuspecting trainers to do horrible things to them! Which would be the only logical explanation for why he's been stalking me this whole time. And okay, he actually left his family behind to do that? Freaking child molester. Why am I not surprised? And oh yeah, this is going to be our little reward. Add this as a memento for all the times, because sadly we met him more than once, and 3 battle points! Sweet! Unfortunately, it's not nearly enough to buy the interesting stuff, such as TMs or items, for example, but oh well, 3 is better than 0. At least, that's what I've been taught in school. So, yeah, now we're going to run out of this shack, never to come back, and never to see this bastard ever again. Hooray! And do we have anything interesting in here? Nope, just one woman. Oh, it's a meow. And it's not in the Hoenn deck, so I imagine that... Oh, you got this ultra-rare Pokemon by Hoenn standards, and you want... well, Skitty's not common, but it's not findable at all in Hoenn either, so yeah, this trade just makes absolutely no sense, and since I never bothered to catch a Skitty, no, I don't have a Skitty at all, and so, what was I saying? Yeah, this trade makes no sense, and this here is the Battle Tower, which is pretty much the signature facility of the Battle Frontier. Everyone knows how it works by now. You just fight 7 trainers, and when you beat all 7, you get some battle points. And the more streaks you rack up, the harder the trainers become. And you can also encounter the Frontier Brain if you win enough streaks. And that's where the worst traits of having to win consecutively without ever losing emerge. Namely, 1 untimely critical by your opponent, and it's all over. Even if you battled better, even if you owned your opponent, an unlucky critical could end it all. Now, this has driven people to refer to this place as the Hacks Tower, but it's just more the nature of building a streak without ever losing. Because statistically speaking, when you're trying to build as much of a winning record as possible, luck sort of cancels itself out, especially if you're fighting trainers that are close to your levels. And oh, I'm gonna continue this in the next video because what's this guy for? I don't remember. It doesn't seem to be important, so I'm just not gonna tell anything. So yeah, I'm going to just take a break since I'm approaching 10 minutes, and after the break I'm going to continue on my tangent about this place not being a Hacks Tower.